All right. Well, let's see. No. There's something happening in technology. Excellent. I have an iPad and a lacrosse stick, and I'm the last thing standing between you and the salt brick, apparently. So let's see what happens. Palmer, actually, could you bring up just a tiny little bit of house light? Yeah, these are all really good-looking people. I'd like to see them. Thanks very much. So if you're like me, you don't usually actually get around so much to thinking about what's next because you're too busy wondering, what's it all for? This is the kind of thing that keeps me up at night. Sometimes all night, and then I wake up the next morning, and I roll over in bed, and then I grab my iPhone, and I start browsing blogs, and soon enough, I'm immersed in all those press releases about the next news conference where Apple's going to divulge the date where they're going to announce a new life-changing product that will be released at some future time. And this actually gets me feeling a little bit better, believe it or not. The Earth is righted on its axis, and I can get out of bed, finally. So then I get down to my assignment for TEDx, finding out what's really next. And soon I'm just overwhelmed by all the social media gurus and the electronic panderings. And sooner or later I find myself at another meeting surrounded by a bunch of dudes in suits. They're not always dudes, but they're always in suits. And they're asking me what we can do to monetize and harness the creative class in Columbus for blah, 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 blah. And I turn to the guy next to me, who usually is Adam B., and I say, I don't know if I can do another one like this. I mean, what's next? Who cares? Creativity? I don't want to dandle on my knee like a damaged child with beautiful eyes and say, what can I do to keep you in town? I want to throw it off that big, new, beautiful bridge into the river below, and I want to see if creativity will swim for its life. So, right, then I go home, and I look at some more beautifully designed WordPress blogs and watch some more YouTube videos about the MacBook Air. And I actually start to despair a little bit, and I should apologize. This is part of what it's like to be an artist. You spend a lot of time navel-gazing with very deep and serious intent. Well, so obviously I was feeling very, very down, not thinking about what's next at all, when suddenly a very strange series of employment opportunities took me on a coast-to-coast tour of the U.S. in 10 days or less. I saw the Pacific Ocean and the mountains and the redwoods in California and South Beach in Miami and the plains of Iowa and all the airports of the Midwest, and we wrapped it up at a 500-acre farm in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. Polyface. Polyface is an environmentally, economically, and emotionally sustainable farm that's 10 times more productive than any factory farm that you can name. These people look at supermarket meat that we take for granted, and they say, we wouldn't use that fecal spam to make compost, which, trust me, is a really nasty thing to say if you're a farmer. Polyface's Joel Salatin calls himself a grass farmer. It's not that kind of grass. Sorry, this is a family show. He has the gall, the nerve, the chutzpah to suggest that sustainability, this golden goose to which all our businesses aspire as if it's the great achievement of our time, is not enough. At Polyface, it's not just sustainability. They're actually enhancing and rebuilding our environment. Well, we walked this beautiful farm for a couple of hours and a couple of miles, and I was filled with an audacious sense of infinite horizons. And suffice to say, I came home inspired. Suddenly, everywhere I looked in Columbus, it seemed there was some fantastic answer to the question of what's next. So I've got a nice list here, and we're going to start, though, with this. This looks like an ordinary lacrosse stick, but I promise you it's not. What you're actually looking at is a carbon fiber braid, woven in an omnidirectional pattern, which means it has no beginning and no ending. C12 Lacrosse. A Columbus company holds a series of patents on the materials, the process, and the means of production to create this practically indestructible lacrosse stick. Trust me, if you saw me earlier, I was standing on this thing across chairs. I've been sitting on it. I've been hitting things with it all day long. I broke a skateboard, some poor kid's sculpture, and Denny Griffith's office window, sorry. And I still say it was Ruth's fault. But you're wondering now, what does a lacrosse stick have to do with anything? But this is where innovation starts sometimes, right? An individual or a small group's passion to find the ultimate solution to some seemingly tiny problem. One day, you're creating a new carbon fiber process. The next year, you're changing the game of lacrosse forever. And the year after that, you're getting calls from NASA, or better yet, Apple. Now, like I said, we've got quite a list, so we ought to get to this. Let's see. Oh, yes. Well, you certainly can't ask what's next in Columbus without stopping by Kramer's house in the Arena District and visiting our good friends from Resource Interactive. Now, at Resource, these guys hit me over the head with a PowerPoint presentation that totally flipped my wig, but let's see if I can break it down for you a little bit. The future will be mobile. There are already almost as many mobile devices connected to the internet as there are PCs connected, and any day now, mobile is going to take pole position. The future will be social and locally relevant, because when you can take your office and your social network with you on your mobile computing platform, then where you're at is suddenly where it's at. The future will be layered. I've seen the fourth dimension, and it's digital. The future will be connected. By 2013, 1 trillion things will be connected to the internet. They're already talking to us in ways we have yet to begin to understand. And if you believe Kevin Kelly, these things already have wants and needs. And last, the future is a game. Say what? I got to tell you, I was really getting down with this list right up to this point, but a game? Well, I didn't understand. So I went and found this guy, Jordan Fair. Jordan is a Columbus-based sound artist whose recent gaming work includes the newest iteration of the legendary Donkey Kong franchise and a massively popular independent game called Super Meat Boy. I would try to explain this game to you, but we'd be here laughing all day long. It's absolutely awesome, and you have to hear it to believe it. But Jordan sat me down, and he showed me some videos, and he laid out some facts, and here they are. Number 1, people spend 3 billion hours per week playing online games together. Number 2, there are more Farmville players than Twitter accounts. Yeah. And number 3, World of Warcraft gamers have already spent 5.93 million years playing the game. Suffice to say, marketers, entrepreneurs, and advocates of change have already taken notice of this, and so you can look forward to a future where brushing your teeth will earn you achievement points. Okay, great. Thank you, Kramer. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Resource. I'm sufficiently confused. My mind is blown, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. The future is already very unsure. Now it's looking even more volatile. And, you know, if I worry about this too much and go back to my navel gazing or spend too much time playing with my new toys, I tend to forget about the people outside my house. It's important to get back out there, because in Columbus, you're never more than a stone's throw from somebody who's working their ass off to change the world. So let's get back to this list. We'll start just east of the short north at Wonderland. Now, you've already heard a lot about these guys today, and I, too, believe that the future of creativity in Columbus rests a lot with these guys. This audacious blend of art and commerce has people in tight pants and suits alike, literally twittering with excitement. And if you haven't looked this thing up on the internet yet today, just trust me, I'll see you there. Next, we're going to move down to OSU, where Dr. Matthew During and his team have developed a new obesity therapy that essentially resets the body's normal control mechanism to regulate body weight. The most elegant feature of their work is the development of an autoregulatory switch, the first and only autoregulatory mechanism of its kind anywhere in the world. So not long from now, you're going to get together with your old high school friends, and the conversation's going to be a little like this. Judy, you look fabulous. Some new diet? Oh, my cravings are gone, and I can eat anything I want. I got that new During switch. Thanks, Dr. During. But seriously, you know, that was a bad joke, but we've heard a lot about the epidemic of obesity today. We've heard a lot about healthcare, and this is a really, really important issue, and we thank Dr. During for his work. Next, we're going to go nearby to the OSU Ross Hart Hospital, where another homegrown team of innovators, EXCMR, which stands for Exercise Stress Cardiac Magnetic Resonance Imaging. We're getting into even deeper territory here, but long story short, they have developed the equipment, the software, and the process to perform treadmill exercise testing in an MRI environment. This is a continued effort to create safer and more effective means of detecting heart disease. I didn't even write a joke about this one. This is serious, good, and important work, and we owe these people our gratitude. Next, we're going to all hop on my blue scooter and drive all the way up to Dublin to EcoChem. EcoChem is about to launch its testing phase with Dublin City and Dublin Schools vehicles, starting with 12 buses. EcoChem is a local company run by Josh Koch, who has a vision to promote global energy security, economic development, and environmental protection by delivering higher quality fuel, starting with low emissions, high mileage diesel. And I hear that after the buses, they're going to move on to the golf carts. So, way Dublin. On the way back from Dublin, however, we must stop by Battelle, because these guys always have what's next on their mind. Now, I went in there, and they have this generator, and it's Oh. Sorry, I don't know anything. We can't talk about that. Let's just move on. Then we'll head back downtown to the Ballet Met Performance Space on Mount Vernon Avenue, where you can see these two young up-and-coming dancers, Carl Rogers and Megan Durham. They have enlisted the help of a trio of nationally renowned choreographers to create Double Take. If you go to Double Take, you will see the vanguard of what's happening with modern dance in this company, and it's just more evidence of the amazing work happening in Columbus's huge and diverse art scene. All right, well, we mentioned mobile a little earlier, so the next thing I do is place a call on my iPhone, and I go down to Luck Brothers Coffee Shop in Grandview, and I bump into a couple guys from the Couchfire Collective, and then maybe some of the dudes from Roll Bikes. But the guy I'm there to meet is Mark Gilisinski from Mobile Expeditions. Mark and his co-founder Sean Bolarski have already been working locally with COSI and on the high seas with Celebrity Cruises. Mobile Expeditions is a platform that allows venues and brands to deliver media-rich, location-based content in the form of iPhone and iPad apps. And better yet, it costs only a fraction of what it would take to develop an iPhone app from scratch. These guys are amazing. Now, we're running out of time, so if you're wondering what this is about, just get out your mobile device, download their London 1647 app. You'll feel like you're there. Well, at this point, I'm feeling much less depressed than I was recently, and I'm very, very impressed with the collective inventiveness of our Midwestern creativity mecca. But there's one topic we have yet to cover, and that's food. It was food that took me to Polyface in the first place, and it's food that takes me to 3 more expectations-shattering enterprises right here from our hometown. Let's talk about Joe DeLoss. Joe DeLoss is a guy, go ahead, applaud if you know Joe. Joe is a guy who spreads hope. And if you're spending your time looking for what's next in Columbus, you're going to bump into this guy's name sooner or later. He is the founder and chief sandwich operator of Fresh Book Catering, who serve better than usual catered lunches while giving a hand up to those in need, providing them with employment and, more importantly, new skills that they can take to new jobs. Now, Joe describes himself as a social entrepreneur and has perhaps created the world's first franchisable social enterprise. And he's not just being recognized in Columbus. He's currently a nominee in Business Week's 2010 search for America's best young entrepreneurs. And if you go to the FreshBox website, you can vote. So go vote. All right, up next. Are we all FUDA members? FUDHA.com. Every day, Tanisha offers a FUDA. This is a great deal from a locally owned restaurant in Columbus. And for every FUDA sold, they donate $1 to the Mid-Ohio Food Bank. They've already donated more than 17,000 meals. This is simply incredible and incredibly simple. All of which brings us around to Michael Jones and the good people of Local Matters. Please. Local Matters is taking a leadership role in answering the question of what does a healthy community look like through the lens of local food. They focus on education, access, and supply, and their mission is nothing short of the transformation of our food system. Now, you're probably familiar with the Greener Grocer, I hope. That's their work over at the North Market. But have you seen the Veggie Van? The Veggie Van is a mobile market that delivers low-cost bags of fresh fruit and vegetables to some of our neighbors who don't have access to healthful local foods. And let me tell you, kids love the Veggie Van. Or how about their Food is Elementary curriculum, which is currently reaching over 1,000 kids, parents, and teachers every week. I recently went online, and I joined the 1,000 Friends of Local Matters. Please, I encourage you to do the same. And so our tour ends here, on the campus of the Columbus College of Art and Design, where 400 or so passionate change seekers have gathered to add to the sum total of joy and brotherhood and sisterhood into the room, to enrich themselves and to enrich the human condition. But it's not going to stop here either. We could do this for hours. I've got quite a list here. But I have to tell you, digging just a little bit below the surface of what we know about here in Columbus and finding all this creativity and vigor has filled me with immense hope. So here's my plan. I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go out in the hall. I'm going to join you guys and get some local food from Bretzels and Pam's Popcorn. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the inspiration that TEDx holds for us today. And then I'm going to get out there into the world and do some game-changing of my own. And I expect to see each and every one of you out there. Thank you for your time.